Welcome back, everybody. Today I have a really fun guest. You're going to get to meet Martin Melendez. He was in the financial services industry. Then he went home to Venezuela to do an amazing project and as a political strategist. And he came back, and I'm not just interviewing him, contrary to popular belief, because he's a soccer fan. Because everyone knows if you went to UVA or you like pizza or you like soccer, you're in with me. Anyone who's been listening to me knows that. But what he's doing as a financial advisor is talking the talk, but also walking the walk. So many advisors say in the interview before they get you as a client, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to care for your family. But what Martin started to do, and which is amazing, is host client events to help his clients who are parents teach their kids about money. So the one phrase that I've always said to students as I'm teaching them is if you want to know about the road ahead, ask the person walking back. And when it comes to financial advisors, they might have the best view of what the road looks like ahead because of all the clients that are now starting to walk back. But at the end of the day, one of the most powerful things you can do with your kids is tell them some of the war stories that a financial advisor that will be able to tell because they've seen it all. And like literally, if you've been in the business more than 10 years, you've pretty much seen 95% of what you're going to see. So Martin, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for hosting me today.
I have tons of questions for you. I'm going to just jump right in. We're going to go all over the place here, but let's just start with an easy laugh. So what inspired you to start hosting these group meetings for parents to teach their kids about money?
Well, first of all, I have kids of my own. I have a 16 years old, 11 years old, 6 months old. Huge gap between number two and number three. And the 16 years old already handles a little bit of money. And of course, it crossed my mind. And I actually told him a couple of times, do you think money actually grows on trees? Do you think people give me just money? I mean, the cost of money, I have to explain it. So then I met you. I heard this It Makes Total Sense program, the book. And it was like, okay, this is the structured way to doing it. I'm just going to go with it because I liked it. It had all the principles that I've been wanting to teach my own kids.
Okay, so now tell me a little about the events that you have. What do they look like? What are your clients, when they go there, what are they experiencing?
Well, first of all, we're hosted at our office. We host once a month. We're actually hosting next week. We're hosting the second one, and we have them in. We get to meet them, and then we have an interaction conversation, 30 to 40 minutes, where we give a really fun, dynamic presentation. Tell them all about the kids. It's all about the kids that night. Those 40 minutes is all about the kids, and when they walk out, they go. They take the book with them to start implementing, and then we send them worksheets and help them throughout the process so they can also start the financial literacy discussions at home.
Yeah, and you know what I love about that is I can tell you how many seminars or client events that I've gone to personally sitting there as the client, and how many of those ideas I leave there saying, wow, that's amazing. I got to do that. And then what happens is I get home and life gets in the way and I don't implement a lot of it, right? So it's
Yes.
not like that's something that you're doing with your clients that the reaction, it sounds like they're getting, it sounds like no one's going and saying, yeah, teaching my kids about money is a bad thing. So has anyone said that to you yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. I don't think I find it, but not yet.
Okay, so they're not saying that, and I say that tongue in cheek because I can't imagine a parent saying that. But so, what's the type of reaction you're getting from clients?
Well, when I invite them, they're like, whoa, this is a topic I've been thinking about. Whoa, this is a fun tool that I can use. And people ask the question that I've seen the most is, am I going to learn how to do it, how to implement it? And then when they see it's like very interesting information was shared today. So they very positive reaction so far. It's been good.
Why don't you just give me one of the most surprising things that parents learn during these sessions?
Well, one is that only 9 states in America require a financial literacy class, but they give they get even more surprised when they know that in some cases, like Utah, is only half a credit.
Wow.
So they get really, really surprised.
You know, it's funny though, because they say, I bet your clients say to you, how are we not teaching our kids about this in school? We're teaching them all these other subjects, but we know every week, there's not a week that goes by that someone doesn't need to interact with money in some way, shape, or form, right?
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah.
So, you know, now I want to talk to you about as a financial advisor. You're dealing with a lot of clients, a lot of successful people. Is there one big, let's call it a financial knowledge gap that you see in the adults that maybe we could solve by a little education and early on in the kids' lives?
I think time. I think I get a lot of clients in their 40s wanting to do something, in their 50s wanting to do something, and they all, when they come at that age, they all say, "I wish I would have started earlier." And this seminar we're doing is trying to close the gap. It's the knowledge that you provide to your kids can help them start early, so it makes it easier in the long run.
Can you give me a feel as to what did those people miss by not starting early? What's the cost of that?
Concepts, for example, like compound interest, they were able, if they would have started earlier, they would have been able to double or triple their money at their retirement. They would have been able to get a better rating in their insurances. They would have been able to plan their financial documents a lot better and plan for it, or make decisions that were gonna benefit them a lot more.
Another thing that comes to mind is the stress level that some
Oh.
of the clients have. Can you give my listeners an appreciation to the stress that people have when they didn't start early on?
Well, I tell them this: there's two levers, money and time. If you don't have a lot of time, then you're gonna need a lot more money, and make a lot more money is gonna create stress, and that is completely related to health issues and other issues develop at that age. That's not an age where you want to be stressing about or at that level. So you can actually ease up your life later on if you start early, and that's what one thing that we're trying to teach.
And you're doing this for your clients. I'm thinking a lot of financial advisors aren't doing this for their clients. So it's kind of like almost like, why aren't they teaching that in school? Well, why aren't the financial advisors providing information for that for them to use to make it user friendly so they go home and they could do it? So, what would you say if a client of a financial advisor, one of the parents that are listening to this, if they're not getting this from their financial advisor, what's the course of action?
I think if they're not listening to the whole family involvement in their plan, they need to address it. Because a lot of people, a lot of advisors are addressing only one client, dad or mom. They're not including anything else. And they're only doing one or other areas for themselves. I mean, for the client per se, but they're leaving out things like states or other areas or their kids. How can we help the kids? How can we create generational wealth, and how can we start creating those for them as well, even when I'm gone?
Okay, so you're a dad too. So
Yes.
are you walking the walk at home with your kids on this?
Oh, we're reading the book. We're having the discussions. Yeah, they have money on their hands. The 16 years old has a budget. He handles it. He's required to save an amount of money every time that he gets money. The 11 years old learning at his own pace. Yes, we're walking the walk.
And so I would imagine too, that's helpful when your clients come because they're saying he's not just a financial advisor, he's a parent. So they get that, and it kind of it lends a little more credibility when you're doing it at home for sure. Do you see one mistake that you wish parents would stop making when it comes to teaching their kids about money?
Giving them money, not explaining the value of the dollar, and not explaining what to do with it. Just give them money because they're going out, because they're, you know, I grew up without that knowledge. I learned it once I grew up, once I had to experience for myself. And every time I say, hey, I want to go out, give me this or give me that, they gave it to me that allowed me to go out, but I never understood the value until I started sweating in myself.
Right. There's nothing, no better teacher than hands-on learning.
True
Right.
that.
And that's the key. It's kind of like the example I always like to use is learning to play tennis. Like, how could you learn to play tennis if you didn't have a racket, right?
Yeah.
You need that to practice. So, do you have a favorite lesson that you like to teach, either your own kids or teach parents how to teach their kids? Is there one topic or one lesson that sticks more with you than others?
I personally like the value of a dollar myself, because once you understand that a dollar has 100 cents, is never going to have 104 and never 98. You understand what to do with those 100 cents. Let me tell you this really quick. I like Diet Coke a lot. So sometimes I just go to McDonald's, get a Diet Coke, and I get it for, used to get it for $1. McDonald's used to have $1 every drink. So one day I go and I was like, whoa, that was expensive. And my son was like, Dad, it's $1.18. How much you used to pay? I was $1. And he said, Dad, it's only 18 cents. And I was like, no, son, it's 18%. It's not 18 cents, it's 18%, because $1 has 100 cents. When you increase 18 cents and you see it that way, now you see how the impacts are working. And his eyes were like, whoa. He didn't see a lot that way. So he understood now. You see how much $1 is worth, and we have had that conversation over and over again. That's my favorite one, to be honest.
Well, I think that's good too, that lesson, because when you open their eyes to it and they get out in the real world, they start noticing things that were there all the time, but it just wasn't the conscious brain. It was in the
Yep.
subconscious, right? So
Yep.
I think when you give them real life examples like that, now your son is probably looking out for that with everything that he does. Now, you've probably stressed him out for life every time gas goes from $3.30 to $3.40, right? But at the end of the day, I think it's a good thing for us to do, because then what you kind of hope is that social media will do its part on the positive side. So,
Yep.
people always talk about TikTok, good, bad. I don't know if it's good or it's bad, but if now all of a sudden my kids start to look at it and question things and ask questions and learn, especially as it pertains to money, then wow, TikTok is great
Yeah.
if it's accomplishing that, right? So
Yep.
I think that that's right to like point those things out, because it gives them something that they're going to pay attention to in the real world.
It is. It is. It is. And now that you mentioned TikTok, that's one more thing that parents are surprised to learn about, because they are very surprised knowing the percentage of their new generation listening to advice on social media. And I agree with you. If they use it to question it, to wonder, or to contrast it, to ask questions, it's good. But a lot of people is surprised that just one advice on social media is defining their financial portfolio completely and their decisions thereof. So,
Well, Martin, I know you're doing some epic work, and I'm so thankful for you to hop on today. I know your schedule is so busy. The fact that I got you, it's like one of my great 2025 coups here. So thank you. I know you are doing amazing work, and I really think I know you're supportive of Total Sense, so this isn't hopefully self-serving. I just really appreciate the time and the energy that you're putting into this, because it's financial advisors like you, hopefully advisors like me, that we basically just make little tiny differences. But those little tiny differences, it's like planting the seed today so that there's a tree 25, 30 years down the line. I feel like that's what we're doing, but you're actually doing it in a big way, and your clients are super lucky. So thank you for everything you do, and congratulations to the success you're having.
now thank you for hosting me today. I'm looking forward to seeing you again.